have come under a lot of problems in that country. And I think I didn't do anything.
It all started after Baba Jah was granted a platform where the popular comedian used the opportunity to reveal shocking and embarrassing details about the leader of the opposition UDP in 2021.
As the head, as the leader of that agency, I bear responsibility in terms of whatever goes out, right? That I agree. But at the end of the day, I mean, I have tried to address the problem, right? To address the problem, to make sure that if something goes that really simply doesn't meet the standards, we have to be able to address that. But the next minute was, okay, let's boycott him. And the next thing was, okay, he's pro-Barrow, right? And a lot of things, ridiculous things were said, a lot of attacks, a lot of threats. And I think, and these are the people that are peddling this, right?
But the shocking details, according to Lamin Njie, was this.
Some really terrible things were said about me, that I was hired by President Adama Barrow to poison or to kill UDP leader Ousainou Darboe. They were saying that. Yes, they were saying that. And if you look at Darboe's nomination at the IEC, Darboe came with heavy security. And Darboe, they even refused Darboe speaking to reporters. If you, all the candidates that came spoke to reporters shortly after filing in their nomination. But it was only Darboe who did not speak to reporters. I don't know what his arrangement was, but he was supposed to speak to reporters as soon as he finished filing in his nomination. And when they got to the IEC, I remember all their security, I was their focus. And you could see the area was quite tense. You know, they never let me anywhere close to Darboe. You know, it was a lot of security men that were with him. And those things were said, but other stuff were also said, because they did that, they having this mindset or having this in their head that he's sent by President Adam Barrow to do something wrong with Darboe. And I think my relationship with Darboe, all these people that were thinking like that, they really don't know the history between me and UDP leader Ousainou Darboe. I think I have also been around enough to contribute to the struggle of that party. When I was the editor-in-chief of the Standard newspaper, I remember way back, it was really tough for the UDP to even have a place to put out their messages. I remember when I was the editor of this, whatever press release, whatever statement that the UDP had, they brought it to my newsroom first. They brought it to my office first to put it out. I remember even when I left the Standard, and it was during those days that I began having this relationship with Darboe. And I remember even when I quit the Standard, I was an inter-party press event that was held at Tango. Darboe came to that event, and when he saw me, that was the first time we met each other after leaving the Standard, and he asked me what was my plans then, and I told him.
Many perceive his soft spot for President Adama Barrow and the ruling NPP as a tacit endorsement of the system.
Look, I think that's a widely held speculation and belief that I am a secret NPP admirer. But you and I know that I have come under a lot of problems in that country. What I would not apologize for is that I would look at issues and assess and analyze them objectively. I'm not going to just go by the wind to say, okay, people are criticizing and I'm also going to criticize. I am not going to do that. What I am going to do is, if I see events, I'm going to speak on those events, but I'm going to speak on them in the way that I feel is my own understanding and my own perception and my own conviction. I'm not NPP, at least on paper. At least I'm not a card-carrying member, and I am not in any NPP executive or any NPP leadership or any NPP organization.
The UDP flag bearer position is at stake. And there was a short piece that you wrote on, and it was published in the social media, that Darboe, lawyer Ousainou Darboe would be best suited for the flag bearer position. This is something that outsiders like you people wouldn't have expected. People like you, who is considered an outsider, to pass judgment. What is your stake in that UDP issue?
Well, and I think I have been around enough to understand how that party operates. Not just that party, but how every party in that country operates. And I think going by the record and the history, I mean, it's clear to everybody that believes in record, that believes in history, but also that believes in science. Because I think even politics is based on science. You can remove politics out of science. What people do in politics is part and parcel of science. I mean, and for me, I mean, I look at data a lot. I think data is very important in terms of how we go about assessing what is going to happen. I mean, sometimes data fails, sometimes science fails, right? But I mean, in that party, if you look at how that party has fared over the years, you will see that the party has been around this long because of the commitment and because of the sacrifice that some of its leaders have put into that party. Yes, I mean, Darboe has been their party since the party was set up, since the party was established. And I think what that has done is that it has enhanced tremendously Darboe's reputation, Darboe's resume as the leader, the Secretary General and party leader of the United Democratic Party. Of course, he has gone to elections. He's a serial election loser, but that in itself cannot be sufficient to use as your yardstick to say that he cannot win election. And for me, saying that Darboe is the best choice for that party isn't out of he being able to win the election or not winning the election. What I was simply trying to say is that as things stand, he remains the most popular in that party. I'm not talking about winning. Of course, you can be the most popular and still lose an election. That is a separate issue altogether. What I was simply saying is that, I mean, because it's been a lot of talk going on. Of course, people have a right to hold a corner for anybody that they feel or think that should be the next leader of that party. And everybody respect that. But what I was simply trying to say is that as things stand, UDP, there cannot be any other leader in that party who can lay claim to being the most popular party in that most popular leader or man in that party. In my opinion, I think Darboe is the most popular. And if you got the most popular, in my view, that most popular leader should be your battle axe in any endeavor, in any political endeavor or venture. So, I mean, it wouldn't make any sense to me to say you are going to push away or push out your most popular candidate or your most popular leader and bring in somebody that has not been tested anywhere, or somebody that has been tested but tested only in one arrondissement, in one local area. I mean, for me, I don't think that is how politics works. Of course, that is also the issue of longevity. People staying too long, people being around too long in position in politics. But I think that comes with our reality, with our political reality. And I think, and for me, to be that person who would play the devil, be the devil's advocate, I would say that sometimes it do work for us around 20 years, and you feel like he should live as leader of the party. But how about if that is what is going to work, or if that is what is working for the party? Because I know Darboe, one thing he has done since he became leader of that party is that he would give you a run for your money. I mean, you can win, of course, as the incumbent, but he would give you trouble. So
fair to say, Lamin, you are abreast with issues that are unfolding in the Gambia. As of now, it's about protest upon protest. What is your take on this protest so far?
Sad. I mean, it's been very, packed in terms of all the events that are happening in our country, politically speaking, but also it's a lot of social issues going on in that country. And the issue of protest has been something that has been really at the front and center of all the events that we are seeing in our country over the years, of course. I mean, centering around political, social, economic, and other issues. So in short, it varies tremendously in terms of the reasons for why we have our citizens venting in terms of going out there in the streets to say, this is what we want, this is what we are unhappy about. So really, I have been following events. I have been really trying to make sense of it all in terms of what what is happening. And like I said, what we have to also understand is that it's been a very different past 8 years since the change came. It came with a lot of implications, of course. I mean, this is what we all fought for. A society where we can all be able to give our opinions, a society where we all fight for the common good.
So, in a nutshell, does it really show that the government has so many issues they have to deal with that the populace is not satisfied with what is happening? So that is why people are coming out to vent their spleen.
Right. I believe that it's a work in progress. I believe that there are a lot of challenges that the government, the current government, needs to work on. I mean, like I said, this change came with its own implications. In this day and time and age, people are more fastidious in terms of how their country is being governed. So there are issues that people want you to address. Very, very important issues. Issues around the economy, issues around corruption, issues around having the playing field, the level or the fair, if you like, playing field for everybody to be able to compete in that country politically, of course. So there are a lot of issues around the environment, land, a lot of issues around education, so agriculture, and these are key issues that people are very particular about. So I know, I mean, it wouldn't make sense to me to say that, okay, the government is ignoring all these issues. I think it is a work in progress, but I'd also, to be fair to the citizens, because the citizens, when they put you in office, there are issues, there are reasons for why they put you in office. There are things that they want you to take care of. If we are going to vote, we have to, it's time we rid ourselves of, okay, I am voting for him because he's Mandinka, I am Mandinka. Or I am voting for him because he's Fula, or I am Fula. It is a very backward, retarded mindset, and it is destroying our country. We need to rid ourselves of it. If not, it's going to be a big problem in that he's not from my tribe. I'm not going to vote for him. If you do that, you are still retarded. Think what you should look at is his competence, is his ability to deliver, is his ability to serve, to deliver service. That is what should be the measure, the standard. But anything else to say, oh, he doesn't speak my language, because people look at all of those things. You go to communities in Badibu and you are Surua, you can't even talk in Mandinka, then people don't want to listen to you.
Thank you so much for giving us this great conversation about topical issues in the Gambia. Any final word in less than 1 minute?
Just thank you for having me. I mean, I have been a little away, and but as a brother and as a colleague, when you told me that you wanted me to be on, I said, okay, I will try to honor this, because at the end of the day, we are all together in this, and I just want to take this opportunity. Let me advance real quick before you leave to congratulate you on this new platform, and hopefully it turns out great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.